Hello and welcome to the walkthrough tour for the new fabulous Fold CD-ROM. And what I'd like to do now is just take you on a very quick sort of guided tour through what you can find on this new and latest CD-ROM that we've got here. Okie dokie, as usual it runs off Adobe Reader, and in order to make the most of the text facilities you'll need version 8 or above, and I believe 10 is current at the moment. Okie dokie, so pop it in the tray and it'll open up. And we've got the main menu sitting here. I've gone straight to that. And on there we can see we've got our card templates, A4 images, backing papers, frames, digital ribbons and envelopes. There's the updates and downloads, which is worth a visit every now and then, a help menu if you have any problems, and we've got the tutorial, which is just a written tutorial in this case, but there will at some point in the future be a video one which you can download, well, have a look at, but you'll need to be on the internet and go to the website. Again, clicking up onto the updates and downloads buttons will take you there. Right, well, let's start off with the card templates that we've got here, because these really are the sort of the center of our fabulous folds. And as you can see, we've got 20 absolutely brilliant folds for you here, and they make up an assortment of shapes of cards, based primarily on the A4 paper. We've got one smaller one here, which again is using A4, but you slice it down, so it creates a sort of an A5 square card, which is great for thank you notes and the such like. And then we've got some longer format ones as well, and as you can see just looking through, there's some absolutely fantastic shapes here, and I think you'll find it'll really sort of take your card making to the next level. Okay, so if I just say click onto one here, what we're going to see is basically almost a blank piece of paper, but there is a template on there, and when you print it out you will see some very, very faint guidelines. That's done, and you can see them when you print out. So on my screen I know it's looking very, very pale. It's done pale, will print out, you'll be able to see them, but when you make the card and cut in, they'll kind of disappear, so we don't get any construction lines showing up when you do the final card. So there you go, there's 20 of those to choose from. They're numbered T1 to T20, and there's a reason for that, and I'll come back to that a little bit later on. But let's move on and see what else we've got on here, because I think you've got to think of this one really as a resources CD. Everything's on it, but it really is a crafter's CD here. There's no ready-made cards per se. You're probably going to need to use a graphics package and extract the images. They do come as JPEGs on the images here, and just change the size and play around with it. And if I just click on, you can see we've got 50 images on here. Now I've based these on the theme of sunsets, so if I just say click onto one here, we've got these beautiful sunset clouds. We've got the dolphins here with the sunset behind them. You can see the theme that's going on. Oh, let's have a look. We've got our golfer here playing on the Costa del Sol there. Beautiful trees in the sunset for you. So those are the themes that run through, and there are some fantastic skies, etc. on here. That's panel number 1. Panel number 2, we've got some additional ones here just to show you all the different layouts that we've got. And cruise ship there is rather nice, and it has sunflowers as well. And on the final one we go here, and these are in portrait format, and again these all come in JPEGs as well for you, so it's just sort of flicking through to give you a selection. And there's a bonus paper on here as well, this beautiful rainbow for you. Okay, they come in 2 flavors, full color, and I've done the tints for you here. Of course, if you bring it into a graphics package you can tint it to how you want it, but I've gone through very carefully and chosen what I think is a good tint that prints well but still gives you the image. Okay, so those are main images there. You can use them with the cards. You may not want to. That's there for you to use, as I said, as a resource. You may want to use them in your other card making applications. Now if we go on to the backing papers, and we've got 40 really lovely papers here, and again they're all sort of chosen with the sort of sunsets in mind, but they're just brilliant for all sorts of occasions. So just clicking on to just at random the top one here, Again, we've just got sort of water on a panel. I've used this quite a lot because once you take parts out of it, it just looks really good. Through to autumn leaves. We've got various ranges of marble as well. Beautiful textures in here. Now these I think are brilliant. I've got you some lovely gold, bronze and silver panels here. Again, so useful for your card making. Through to a gnarly old piece of wood. Onto something here which is just done with sticks and wood, but just creates again quite a nice texture for all sorts of card making occasions. And these come in the smaller size. We're called the A5 if I just click onto the buttons, so you can print those as cards in their own right if you want, as backing paper. They're just a little bit over A5, so you can use those if you want to in a traditional card format. Okay, and moving on, we've got frames. Now you'll notice that the templates were numbered. Well, you'll see now that these frames actually match. They'll match, you can mix and match them really with anything that you want, but the numbers here, T5, T3, T9, T14, etc., they correspond with the templates, so they'll do an absolutely perfect match to those particular templates for you, which I think is a great way of sort of enhancing your cards. Now down here we've got text editable frame backers, and if we click on these, again are the backers, as it says, that you can put onto the back of the card, because with the pillar card stroke A-fold cards, you really don't want to be writing on the inside. You can do if you want, but then the message might be seen as people look through, so let's use the back there, and that's what these were intended for. Of course you can handwrite on there, but if you want to, you can type in your message or copy and paste some verses into these boxes, and those can go on the back of your cards. Just gives a lovely sort of finishing touch to it. Now I've also included some digital ribbons here. I say some, 7 sets, 40 digital ribbons, and for those of you with eagle eyes will spot the fact that they're actually based on the backing papers which come with the CD. Now with these, when you click onto it, you'll notice, as I've got here, just a slight delay, because what's happening is it's loading in all these fonts onto your computers. Once they're in, it'll work really quickly, but you may just find when anything that you're doing with the type on Adobe can sometimes take a few seconds as it slowly chunks in. When it's there, it's good, but it does take a little bit of time sometimes, as I said, because it's now looking at your system's folder. It's just doing some clever stuff. Takes sometimes a minute or two to settle down. Okie dokie, so sets 1 to 7, these all match now the backgrounds. If I just click on, you can actually see the pattern that's behind it there. So I actually really love using these. And remember, if we copy and paste over it like this, we can now change the colour, and the control panel here is for that. You can change the size and you can change the colour. To get the control panel up, if it doesn't come up automatically, go Control T on your computer and that will come up and just sit in here. And you can just change, as I said, the size and even the colour of the text as well. So that's a very useful feature to have. So it's 7 sets. Those come in the full density colour and in the tint as well, as we can see there. Now last but not least, I've got the envelopes on here, and again this is pretty standard fare that I put on all of my CDs. The only difference is, and there is a little difference on this one, is the A5 one now I've made just that wee bit bigger, because I think card making has sort of moved up a little bit of a notch here, and people are making slightly more intricate cards, so you can use this now because it's just, as I said, a wee bit bigger. It'll allow for the fact that you've got folds in the cards, etc. So that'll be useful to use. Don't worry if your printer doesn't go edge to edge. If these lines bleed off, just simply go right to the end. It'll all work and make a beautiful envelope for you. The bottom line here is within the safety margin, and all printers, you'll be absolutely fine. That's part 1 and part 2 here, and again this will print fine because it's all within the safety parameters, but it's all a little bit bigger, so it's a nice little feature, that. Okay, And so there we go. I mean, that's a very, very quick overview of all the things that you're going to find on the CD-ROM. Last but not least, we've got the making tutorial here. And the cards are very, very simple. And if you just look through, you can see it's all done in pictorial reference here. If you're unsure, I suggest you just start off with a piece of paper and just print one out and have a go. But you'll see once you get into it that they are, as I said, very, very simple to make. It's just a little bit of careful folding and you'll be absolutely fine. Okie dokie. Last but not least, just to remind you, whenever you're printing, please make sure when you go to the print dialog box and you come to print that you make sure that you have everything set properly for your printer. Now, the most important thing here, if I show you, then your printer will come up in this box here. You can change all the parameters. What you must do is go from print range from all to current view or current page. That is important, otherwise it's going to try and print out the whole document. Lots of people make that mistake. I'm just pre-warning you now. Okie dokie. So I'm just going to finish off on this page. Again, lots of lovely parts on the templates here, and I appreciate you will see it's a very, very faint outline here. Just one point to note when you're making the templates: if there's a shape like the star, we've got red lines are cut lines, green valley folds, blue are a mountain, and the grey continues. You won't see this when the card's made, but the grey's there for you as a guide. So if you've got the shape of a star, etc., you can then use this as your own template as well. So there we go. It really is, as I said, a fantastic resource CD for you for crafting. I think you're going to just sort of come back to this again and again. Do you know what? I would suggest that you print this page out, keep it near your computer, and when you're making your cards and thinking, oh, what shape shall I go for, you can refer back to here as a sort of handy little guide chart. Okie dokie. So I hope this tells you a little bit more about the CD, and I hope you enjoy crafting with it. Thank you. Bye-bye.